actually, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Wandering Cheese Cafe, and yeah, kind of want to do something about this light fixture over here. I haven't done a little video in a little while, and I thought, let's do it something different. Let's do another renovation slash home repair video, something that could be done pretty easily over here. So, mostly probably have light fixtures that might have gotten busted over time. Perhaps it's also that they look outdated, you don't like the look, you want to kind of swap it up, make it a little refresh in your room. And some of you out there will probably think, you gotta change a light, better call an electrician. But truth be told, it's actually not that hard to do. You're not working with the wiring in your house, it's really just a fixture swap. Any homeowner can do that. And I thought, let's show how this could be done. Just like any other electrical fixture, before you actually touch this, the first thing you do is you gotta make sure that the power is off. Otherwise, you're basically going to end up being a southern fried homeowner, and nobody wants to see extra crispy Yuki on live on TV. So you just have to go shut the power down to make sure that there's no charge there. And if it's one of those boards that you're not sure which belongs to what, shut the power to the whole house if need be. That's the easiest thing to do. Or you could also use this. This thing is a little tester to find out if there's a charge in your wire. I turned the light on just for demonstration purposes, but here's how it works. Take this piece of plastic tip, hold it, and then when you put it near the wire or the plug or whatever fixture, it'll tell you if there's a charge. It's pretty handy to have. This thing costs like 15, 17 bucks at most hardware stores, so it's definitely easy to use and definitely handy if you're doing a lot of electrical work in your house. So let's go power it down, let's get started. There. So I just turned the power off downstairs. This thing is safe, but if you worked around electricians enough, you would know that they always do a test just to be sure. So, yeah, they would still test the wire to make sure there's no power coming in. That was weird. I've never had that happen before. Nevertheless. Yep, there's no charge. I have the light on. We're going to disconnect this. So, if you look at this one here, let me see if I can get a good view of this. Yeah, this one has these hexagonal nuts that are holding it up into the ceiling here, so I have myself a little bit of a screwdriver with the same size nut. Oop, not the right size. I better go replace it. Take two. Is this going to be right? Oh, not this one. I had to bring a couple sizes to make sure this actually fit. And okay, this is not going in either. Ooh, I actually felt a turn. Oh, hang on, this was just hand tightened. Oh boy. Yeah, I just made an ass of myself here, so here's how it works. I'm just taking these hexagonal bolts and disconnecting them. So this is what's attaching it to the ceiling right now, and once this is off, you'll be able to just yank this thing away. Usually. Except... oh boy. So, here's a lazy thing that probably a lot of homeowners do. When you're painting a ceiling, you're probably just painting around the light fixture too. So the main result too is that you might get some paint, and then that's gonna get this all, jammed up. So I'm gonna take my X-Acto, like utility knife, and just cut around the perimeter to make sure there's no, paint that's just keeping this held in place. Good lord. Yeah, sometimes it's a simple fixture swap, but that's not always the case. You always find some other... Ta-da! Oh. Spray foam, that's what it was. Yeah, I forgot. I had spray foamed up around the fixture when I was insulating the attic, so that's probably what was holding it in place. So let's just get this disconnected. Okay, red wire. Very interesting. Okay, so white, red, that makes sense to me. Let's disconnect this. There we go. Huh. Interesting. This thing wasn't even grounded. Is this right? Good lord. Alright. So next I'm going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to disconnect the mounting bracket from the octagonal box. And this is a very standard thing to do. Don't worry about screws that fall. You're going to be able to clean it up eventually. What the heck? Oh, air. Oh. So I don't know if they actually did this thing themselves or what the heck is going on, but there's a green screw over here that's supposed to act as the grounding. Problem is that they seem to put it on the upside down portion of it. So it means, what does this mean? Dear Lord. Well, whatever the case, gotta disconnect this too. Wow. Scary thing is that this is not even the most questionable thing I remember seeing. I've seen much worse before in this house. Sometimes you keep learning new things. Okay, I think I get it. So the grounding is hooked up to this green screw like usual, but it's one of those that's kind of attached to it. So that means that there was a longer one that you have to disconnect here to do it properly. Oh boy. There. Alright, so now that we have everything disconnected, it's time to put in the new fixture here. So what I got is a pretty typical one that I'm going to be installing. This one's called a flush mount. And they call it flush mount because it finishes like flush with the ceiling here. So then you're not going to see any holes. And it's actually going to block that hole pretty well because this is about 13 inches in diameter. So it gives me more than enough coverage as well. And yeah, I'm also aware of a little crack on my ceiling. That probably means they had a bad joint when they installed this thing. But at least it's a project I can work on later on. That's an easy fix. So, okay, so this thing here, you got your mounting bracket with the, okay, so it's got a similar thing, grounding that's attached to the bracket. Then this, I believe, whoa, is going to be attached to a different bracket, if I'm not mistaken. So there's all the hardware. So it's always going to come with your hardware too, like your screws. This is going to be the bracket. Oh no, Felix. Yeah, Felix is actually playing with a screw for a second there. Don't need him to do that. And there goes more stuff. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to screw this up into the bracket, and then I'm going to mount. So basically this goes upwards, and then this, let me see. Yeah, it's there. Okay, I had to change the angle so that you could get a good idea what the heck I'm doing. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to be putting this upwards. This is the connector that you're going to use. So go backwards until it just sits, because you don't want to cross thread this. So just twist and twist and twist like that, and then eventually this part is going to hang down like this. Oh yeah, and there's a part that you puncture out here. Yeah, I think I know how this is going to work actually. Easy stuff. So unwrap these wires so that, yeah, what the, oh yeah, because this one is going to have two bulbs, so you got one white and one black for each one. So typically what you would do is you match up the white with the white, black with the black, ground to the ground. But you're going to notice there's a red wire over here. The black one is kept up there, and it's covered up with one of those wire connectors. This, if I remember my electrical correctly, is going to be the neutral wire. So this one is going to be dependent on whether the light switch goes on or off. Now, I'm going to have to ground this thing. But first, I should probably screw this thing in. Yeah. you're gonna have to screw this in to the mounting bracket that's up here, or no, the octagonal box. If you remembered my video I did in the closet a while back, you would remember that this was hooked up directly into the, actually no, the screws here are hooked up directly to that basic fixture, which is pretty common. And if you want to remember that, then just take a look at the top right corner and I'll put a card there so you can watch me work that closet. Now, I'm going to need to screw this in, like I said. How the heck? Yeah, sometimes the trickiest part is trying to align this properly because you're kind of working from a different angle and it can be a little complicated. Oh, there. I got it tightened here. I want to do the exact same thing right here. Hope I could capture all this on camera. Yep, this seems solid enough. So, see if I can do this properly, like ground this to the ground. Right. Yeah, I realize it's hard to do this on camera. So you basically just have to wrap your grounding wire with the ground wire that's up in the wall or the ceiling. And then there's an aluminum attachment here that just wrap around your copper wire here with white to white, black to black. And then you're going to attach that with these wire connectors to make sure there's no shock. Easy enough to do. Okay, this is all grounded, so let's get this back up here. Just tuck that away. Now let's see if I can get this all connected with everyone able to watch this. So here is how you do it. Simple enough. Take your copper, wrap around your aluminum there, and then you do the exact same thing for each of the sides. So again, black to your red because that's your neutral. Right. There. That's good. And the good thing I got long arms too. That makes this a lot easier as well. So once this is all connected and wrapped up, you just take your nut, twist, twist and twist until it's all secured. Just like this. That way it's going to be nice and tight. And then you just repeat that for the white wire. And don't worry if this thing looks like it's going to fall. It's actually pretty well supported by the grounding wire, thankfully. So one white, two white. I want to get this as low as possible too so that it's well protected. Just keep twisting. Some people would probably also use electrical tape on these things, but it's actually not necessary because from what I read, you only really need to use electrical tape if you have exposed copper on here. But if there's no copper, then there's no need for it. Of course, some people would say you could probably snip the copper if you have too much exposed. Alright, so all the wires there. So let's tuck this in. Alright, what I'm going to be doing now is taking the bracket here and mounting it to the top bracket as well so that it's going to be connected properly. So again, you just make sure you don't cross thread it. Oh. Actually, I have a better idea. So, smart of me to use a stool, like a little ottoman to stand on, when, truth be told, I actually have a ladder here this whole time, so, yeah, sometimes it's just not logical when you're trying to get the job done. But at any rate, got this here, let's see, okay, so it will be secured. So I'm just going to get this in. Strange. Okay, so I just had a basement moment. I was putting in the bracket the wrong way because what you gotta do, put this underneath here so that it's actually going to have a nice tight seal inside the wall, in the ceiling. Bloody hell. Okay, we're getting to the home stretch now. Ooh, glad I have these long arms. So I got this mounted, it's flush with the ceiling. Now I'm going to put this nut here. Let's do this properly. So, okay, first I want to make sure I'm aligned. Yeah, because my intention for this is to make sure this rights up the room properly for me. So if I do it this way, then that means I'm going to have one leg going this way to one edge and then the other getting to that edge. It's perfect. All right. Okay, so before I get the cover onto here, you're going to need one important step too, your light bulbs. Because without your bulbs, you have no light going over here. So I'm a big fan of LED bulbs because they use a lot less electricity than the old incandescent ones. Those had a bit of warmth, but there's something about the brightness in here that I prefer. And they use only like maybe 7 watts also. What's it say? 60 watt equivalent? Yeah, 9 watts. So basically you're lighting up the equivalent of 60 watts in your room with a fraction of the power. So you're definitely saving a lot on your utility bills. And I'm not going to teach you how to put a light bulb in. Anyone could do that without having to watch YouTube. And even if you need YouTube, there's always other people doing it better than me probably. Okay, this is in. It should be tight. Oh yeah, one more important thing too. If you're buying these bulbs, make sure you get the ones that say suitable for enclosed fixtures, because there is going to be a glass cover on this to protect it all, and you don't want to have that in there. Make sure it says for enclosed fixtures, not regular. It has to do with the heat that's generated there. I mean, you could use it, but it just means that whatever shelf life of the bulb is going to be used a lot less. Like, you're going to wear it out a lot more. Okay, let me just do one last adjustment of the bulb. Alright, bulbs are both secure. We're good to go here. Now it's time to add the finishing touch. So, all these flush mounts are going to include a glass cover here, just so you don't have to stare at the light bulb. But they're going to come with a few other pieces too. Basically, you're going to have this plastic washer and this hexagonal nut here. What you want to do is put this up, and then you want to make sure that your washer goes first. The reason for that is that if you just put the hexagonal piece first with no washer, that's going to cause a lot more pressure onto the glass, and the more you tighten it, the easier the chance this thing is going to crack on you, which you really don't want. So this washer is actually going to act as a little compression hold in place. Just keep twisting this. There. So this thing is on tight, and then there should be a small decorative cap, which you just twist on as well. Keep going until it's flush with the bulb. Alright. So the fixture's in. Time to go do the test. Power's back on. Everything's installed. Let's give this a shot. See? Just like magic. Anyone can change their own light fixture in a house. It's that simple to do. Usually. And most of the roadblocks you get, they're easy fixes. I should probably close this because I'm blinding myself. And there you have it. So thanks for watching this edition of the Warnuki Cheese Cafe, renovation style. So if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Give me a thumbs up if you like my content and antics, and leave a comment in the section below if you want me to cover something in a future episode. See you all later. Hey Felix, what do you think of this light? He just wants to relax and chill. You know, he's a Netflix and chill kind of guy.